G'day, good evening. Thank you for listening. This is a gardening and agricultural horticultural show. It focuses on plant science, soil science, and microbiology, and the information provided is fact-checked. So any of the websites or papers that have been discussed will be put in the description below. And the information can be relied on, and it's for educational and scientific purposes. And today we're going to be going through the last few lectures of the agricultural farming, organic farming course. So if you're watching this back, fast forward until you see some slides or the screen start to change, because it'll probably give it another 70, 80 seconds till I start, just to allow some other folk to arrive. And then I'll start. So you've got 60 more seconds to go. Right. 40 seconds to go now. Got the slides ready. $20, 15. Ten more to go. 5 more to go. Righto, we're on. Share screen. So we're going through this course, Organic Farming for Sustainable Agricultural Production, and up to lecture 29. So it's transitioning into organic crops, crop planning and rotational design, crop planning of your agricultural system, integrated farming system, and urban agriculture. That's pretty interesting, that urban agricultural one. And then it starts on the next topic of quality food and natural antioxidants for health defense, and all about organics, basically. Why should you transition to organics? Actually, that's what one of the lectures. Organic food and health standards certification, operational structure for organic certification. Oh, that's the end. So I reckon we'll go to that, because keep all of that for next week. Possibly we could go on the certification today, because see how here it goes down for the health, bit of standard, and then it goes into the certification, these last few. So if today's doesn't go too long, I might be able to do these last 3 and leave the other ones for next week. Bit of a chop and change, but that was my thoughts. Back to this one. Organic farming for sustainable agricultural production. So why should you transition to organics? Well, studies of farmers practicing organic farming for many years found the reasons that it affects chemicals on health, affects conventional farming on soil qualities and conservation, dissatisfaction with conventional farming practices, decline in family farming in rural communities, opportunities to improve farm profitability. So really, it's about the health for everything inside and outside of the fence, and under and above, and profitability. You got a high profitability because it's a niche market. Not many people are doing organics. So considerations for transitioning to organic systems. So organic systems can be more laborious. Yes, that's the only thing. It's just a lot more labor intensive. So if you've got a bit of anxiety in here like me, it's perfect. Considerations. Keeping ahead of weeds and disease. That's one of the problems that can be challenging. So you've got to have your IPM intact and good tools on hand, different organic sprays that you can use, different biological weapons, biological pesticides, biological insecticides, and then it's no worries. And it's quite easy. Transitioning takes time, can take from 3 to 5 years. Crop yields may decline during that period, but that's where you'll only do a little bit of your property, divide it into maybe 3 sections or 6 sections. After gaining experience, begin adding more difficult crops. Transition approaches, gradual transition, one field at a time, or whole farm. I'm not going to read them because they are self-explanatory. So you can go gradually, or you can do one field at a time, or you can do a whole farm, breaking it up into sections. Depends how big your place is. If it's huge, you break it into sections. If it's small, you might want to break it maybe into half. Depends if you're getting profit off it or if it's just growing off it. What's the transition period? Well, I reckon 3 years. A strong business plan ensures a sound approach. Your business plan should say all this stuff in it. What do organic standards require? The land must be managed as organic for 36 months prior to the first organic harvest. And during the last 12 months of the period, it must be under the supervision of organic certification body that the farm has been reviewed and approved. The goal of the enterprise must be to complete the transition period. Well, to do it in Australia, it takes a few years and it's not cheap. And you got to work with them, and they'll do. You got to pay for inspections, so they come out and do a couple of inspections a year, and that's in your. I think it's on top of your $1,000 just for the certification, and then that's it. That's all of my experience in that section. What do organic standards require? Well, yeah, buffer zones and boundaries. So the buffer zone, I was told, is 5 meters. 15 feet in Australia. So that's between the organic and the non-organic production. Must be at least 8 meters, it says here, in India. So I've got a buffer area of a good probably 10 meters at least. And then that's not even to the crop. And this can include permanent hedgerows, windbreaks, permanent roads, or physical barriers. Production units cannot alternate between organic and non-organic production. If you have a problem with the field, it cannot be rotated between organic and non-organic. So the steps. Well, do your education. Know your IPM, because once you get into that time where you want to spray something and you've got big weed or pest problems, you'll be in trouble. So you have to monitor stuff. I do a daily walk around. I just like to walk around, see what's going on, see what pests and see what things have germinated and blah, blah, blah. Stay on top of it. See what also things seed. I've got a problem with weeds that grow very low to the ground seed, as an example. So you've got to stay on top of them. So all those knowledge things come into hand. Make a plan. Yeah, that's probably, if you don't have your education on top of it, you just make a plan. Set it out. What you'd like to do in the first year, your IPM strategies, what you'd like to achieve, your planting size and area, which goes off really your sprinkler, if you want to do that. So you work out what size sprinkler you want, and that's the area that you can irrigate, so therefore you can grow your crops under that. So you have to think, all right, am I going to hand water? Well, okay, you can, but just consider that. Steps to transition. For long-term planning, decide which crops will be grown organically based on market opportunities, on-farm needs, livestock. Crops. Short-term legumes and forage crops are often the best for transitioning years, since they cost less and establish and generally have lower demands for nutrients and pest management. They also improve your soil. Because legumes, if they've got rhizobium with them, nitrogen fixing bacteria, that's what they'll do. Steps: input, seeds, nutrients, pest management. I talked about that. Watch your seeds. Source organic seed. If it does make a big difference, because when you grow it, it'll be used to growing in a normal mineral fertilizer, and it won't be able to defend itself. So you'll see if you get non-organic seed, it might, and you want to do organic production, it might struggle, it might develop disease because it's used to being treated and pampered by pesticides and sprays and mineral fertilizer. So that's the difference between organic seeds and normal annual certification process. You have to look up that in your general area. That's the first one. Should see if there's anybody said g'day. Oh yeah. A couple of g'days. G'day 420 Fred. Sunshine Rainbow says g'day. Going through this last bits of the course. All right, next bit. Crop planting and rotation. Introduction to crop rotation. Crop rotation is a system of growing different kinds of crops in recurrent succession on the same land. It might include 2 to 6 different crops at each time, having particular benefits, either financial or environmental. Crops may be rotated every year, different times. Many crop rotations will include your legumes because they're nitrogen fixating, or in beans, you know, they are legumes, so they're good to look to get into. Why rotate crops? Well, what does it say? Enhance soil and water conservation, build organic matter. Well, you kind of build organic matter anyway by growing crops and the residue going down. Provide weed disease control. That's what it's for. It's for this one. Provide weed, disease, and insect control. That's the main reason why you rotate crops, because pests and diseases like certain flavons or different types of chemical signals that they receive, quorum sensing might be favourable in their area. So that might be coming out from that particular crop. So by changing your crop, you'll change the different microbial patterns, and that won't develop any problems because it'll be forever changing. So that's pretty much it, why you rotate it. And how do you rotate them? Require quality input. Soil fertility complex in relation to external factors. No, that's talking about a soil. Okay. Quality production as a function of crop rotation. Quality production as a function of crop rotation. Healthy and vital crops. Well, just before the pest and disease and soil fertility. So you're going to get that from organic matter, from residue from any crop. So it's pests and diseases. Healthy and vital cropping systems. Yeah, it's all self-explanatory. Crop selection in rotation. Follow a legume crop with a high nitrogen demanding crop. Hang on. Crop selection in rotation. Follow a legume crop with a high nitrogen demanding crop. Follow it. Oh, because, well, they reckon actually from the, it's from burning, it's 96 to 98%. Most of the nitrogen is used up after a crop in a cropping cycle. So that's why you'd follow with a legume, just to replenish that, the nitrogen. Grow less nitrogen demanding crops on the initial phase of rotation. Try to grow deep-rooted crops as a part. Grow the same annual crop for only 1 year. Use crop sequencing that promote healthier crops. Use crop sequencing that aid in controlling weeds. Grow some crops that will leave significant amounts of residue. That's the big important bit, the residue. Because you want all the nutrition in that bound up in the residue. Condition for successful crop rotations include the use of cover crops to provide fertility, control weeds, and provide habitat for beneficial insects. Have diversity of plant species. Provide a balance between soil conservation and crop production. Provide weed control by alternating between warm and cool weather plants and including weed inhibiting plants such as rye or sorghum. You can also put down remember the trap crops like marigolds, which all the bad things will be attracted to those. Common goals for crop rotation: maintain healthy soil by adding nitrogen and other nutrients in a way of environmentally safe ways. By adding green manure for your nitrogen source, that should be saying, and other nutrients will be coming out of your organic matter and your manures. Produce nutritious food, control insects, righto, produce. Okay, it says on the side here. Attain a biotic diversity and unlock the living potential of the soil. Yes, with your microbes. Farm size, cover crops rotation, that's self-explanatory. Farmers with limited acreage, under 5 acres, find that including cover crops and providing adequate rotation of crop families in a given field is challenging. Many smaller farms rely on mulch, compost, and short-term winter crops for the place of multi-seasonal crops. Ranking annual vegetables based on their relative nutritional requirements. So if you want to start your farm off, you'll be thinking, how am I going to get into this? Well, you'll do, where your farm's located, you can only geographically grow so many species of fruit and veg if that's what you're going to grow. So look into which ones are suitable for your environment. You might be really cold, so you might be looking for really cold weather ones, or it might be warm and dry, so you can look for ones that don't require much water, etc., etc. So that's how you'll look to see what's suitable, and then you can go into this, because otherwise you'll be doing a lot of research on stuff that you don't need to do. Rooting depth for several crops. Well, you need to know that for your tillage and for pest and disease control and for irrigation. Where's mine? Where's garlic? I know it's 60 centimeters anyway. Schematic summary of crop rotational planning. If you want to really go and do a schematic diagram, there's one example. You can put in to fill in the blanks. Examples of crop rotation in India. So they might do legumes, then a goosefoot family, then an onion family, then a melon family, sunflower, etc. They go right around. I don't know if that would be quite true, because that's a big, broad diversity. Well, by doing this, you've guaranteed one family is not going to be producing pathogens for the next family type thing. So that's pretty successful. All right. Let's see if there's any questions or anything. Infinite Wonders says, hello. Hey, everyone. Hello, Infinite Wonders. Aussie Jeffro, morning, mate. How's it doing, chat? G'day, g'day. Share your referral link. There's a new thing under there I'm just reading. New to streaming or look to level up? Check out... Yeah, share their link and I'll give you a blooming money. Oh, well, it's good marketing. That's why marketing's blooming ruined Australia, at least, because it's all about mineral-based feeds. I caught an ant. Yeah, have a look. I'll show you. Hang on. I've just got to watch it. It's very big. I'll go back to here again. Stop sharing. Yes. Oh, I got to do a Jeff Rose thing too. There it is. Look at the size of this banger. There's my thumb behind it. It's not, what's it doing? It's not spread out at the moment. It's pretty big. I thought it was a female, so I was going to keep it, put it in a test tube and stuff and rear it. And because the females, they live up to 20 years old, but it's not a female. You can tell by their antenna if it's kinked in the middle. And this one, it was semi-kinked, and I thought, oh, I'll try it. And it's not, because it's not interested in laying eggs because it's already dropped its wings. So, yeah, there you go. I'm hoping it is male, and I was going to go out and look for some female and mix them. Can't see it. Oh, did you end up seeing it? I saw that. Can't see it. Yeah, I'll show you again then, just in case. You can see me. There. I've got it in this little cup. So it's on the side of the cup. It's about just under an inch long. It's a solid 2 centimeters long. It's massive. Look at its jaws up there. Pinch the size. It's humongous. It's got 3 yellow dots on its abdomen, but it's sort of curled up a bit at the moment. It's not spread out. I had it in the test tube for a few days, so I've let it out and not release it. But anyway, so I've got to watch that to make sure it doesn't get out inside here because I don't want it to. All right, back to this. There's your little ad break. 21 minutes. I might finish early. Schematic diagram, again, there it is. Rotational balance. So here's an example they've drawn out that you might have your fields. They've divided it into 4. And they put an annual here, multi in here. Okay. Switch and switch and switch. It's key responsibilities and tasks involved in managing a crop rotation. So they're the problems and things you might run into. I'm not going to read them all. There are a lot of them self-explanatory, but yeah, there's 20 of them there. Just if you're really interested in it, you might want to read through them. It's monitor, timing, the right crops for your right areas, weather, planning. Like now it's getting warmer. You might find that the different zonings, it says you live in a zone 3, but you might actually be able to plant zone 4 because it's climate change is having different effects on things. Or if you grow in a greenhouse, you might be able to up the zones by a couple. Effects of crop rotation. What's this say? Loose and gain of soil organic matter under tilled corn followed by grass sod. So on the x-axis is years, y-axis is soil organic matter content in percent. So there was already a lot at the start. They planted, it used it up, went down to 2% from 4. Then grass was put in. Fair income. That's pretty cool, eh? So that's just one example of how you can keep your soil organic matter up over a long period of time. 4%'s high. I think, what is it? At the end of is it 2%, 3%? Something like that is the end of the compost that they say is quality organic matter. So that's pretty interesting about it from grass. And I'm finding too from the grass, if you correct your pH, the grasses naturally want to start to grow, and then you just remove your weeds selectively. You know, one thing that works pretty good with weeds too, urine, human. Designing crop rotation experiments. So to design a crop rotation experiments depends strongly on specific objectives like flexibility, references, scale, and time. So flexibility, there is often need to change management and include new aspects or investigations over the course of the experiment. Changes should be kept at an absolute minimum within a rotational course and only included for each new course of rotation. Reference is a static part. So treatment as a reference code, as a reference, is desirable for documentation. However, even the static part should be adjusted when it gets too academic. The scale, so the plot should be as large as possible. Time, often time periods for time or conversion are required for interpretation even on low budget years. Designing crop rotation experiments. There's some more design, management, minimum data set. I'm going to skim over them because I don't think they're, well, everything's relevant. but I'm just going to skim over it to keep everybody a bit entertained. If you really are fully interested, you'll press pause. You can press pause and read them or watch it later. Differences in crop nutrient uptake. That's pretty important because you don't know, like in the first few years, how fertile your fields are. So you might want to look at one that's very low. That's why your legumes, you can't go wrong. So as soon as you nearly take over the plot, you'll want to start and just throw your legume seeds out. Crop nutritional uptake varies due to the factors including rooting depth and breadth, variety, environmental factors, and soil tilth. Generally, crops can be characterized as having low, medium, or high nutrition demands based on their nutritional uptake. Different varieties within any crop may be more or less efficient at taking up nutrients. These crops with a high nutrient demand require higher levels of the nutrients present in the soil solution. Organic transition economics. Step 1. Develop a transition production plan. We'll go down here to the field plan. So you might want to use this as an example. Say you've gone and divided it like it shows before, like that. You might have your fields laid out into areas, and then you've got your field numbers, and then your years, what you're going to do and how you're going to rotate them and what you're going to put in those areas. You might want to also put in there some dates under here, leave dates planted, so you'll know the next year what's worked, germination times. Some weather events might have stuffed you up. Frost might have come a bit earlier, for instance, so you might want to go a few weeks earlier the following year. Crop sequences. Planning of the crop rotation includes looking backwards and forwards in time. So you have to try and picture that to see what you want to happen at those times, so it can all work out well for you. Pretty much it's all going to be taken care of down the track, but in these transitional times, it's things to consider, because you'll have ample supply of everything down the track. Everything will be rotating and doing all its happy stuff. Nutrition levels will be high, microbes will be high. It'll all be really good, but it's just something to take in consideration again. Last one. Oh, here we go. Urban agriculture. I think this is pretty interesting. What is integrated farming systems? Well, they represent an appropriate combination of farm enterprises like cropping systems, horticulture, livestock, fishery, forestry, poultry, and the means available of the farmer to raise them for profitability. It interacts with everything, dislocating the economical and socio-economical balance on one hand and attempt to meet the national goal on the other. So, integrated farming system, down the bottom. Farming resources are allowed to need priorities of the farm and local circumstances, which demand, that's pretty blooming, yeah. So climatic conditions, soil type, topography, market opportunities. So your market opportunities, if looking into your things, is pretty huge. You don't want to go and do something they're getting low amounts at the produce store. So you want to look into semi-niche markets or niche markets if you can. There's a show in Australia called Landline. I'd suggest watching that if you want to get into it in Australia. They always showed niche markets. Mushrooms was something a few years back. Different species of mushrooms get top $1 million. Morels and stuff like that. Truffles. So there's just different market opportunities in your areas to look for. Economics, institutional and infrastructure facilities. Another thing too is if you've got a lot of restaurants in the area, maybe talk to the chefs if you have a chance and just see if there's any niche markets through them. Just say to them you're looking at getting into farming and you'd like to supply the local farm area because you're going to be organic. And that's an opportunity to get some really good money from some, because that's what the chefs are specifically after. Small farms that focus on quality. So why integrated farming systems? Well, to ensure income throughout the year. Shifting from single to integrated multi. The governing idea behind multipliers is that the farmer can adopt enterprises such as dairy, horticultural, floricultural, beekeeping, vegetable, poultry, duckery, piggery, mushroom, fisheries, biogas plant, and solar heating, etc. So you can do all of that sort of stuff and make money off it. That's why you do it. Key principles. Well, see what you're going to be selling and work that out. Efficient use of resources. Using crop residue and organic waste more rationally is an important activity. Like all your manures and your green manures. Eco-sustainable and economical value. Objectives of IFS. There's some objectives. I'll get on to urban, is very interesting. Outline of integrated farming system. Where do you start? It's pretty much everything works within everything. So you have multi-purpose crops, which can feed fuel and fibre. They'll feed the animals, which you'll get all the milk, meat, eggs and work from. Animals will feed the biogas plant and biofertilizers, manures, and the pond will feed water and plants and fish and everything, cycling. There you go. There's your little, on the right, crop, fishery, livestock farming systems. There's a good example of them all that you might want to include on your property eventually. Because manure, you need good manure that'll take care of the nutrients and the fertilizers, and it'll all cycle. Benefits, there's stacks of benefits. Everybody can benefit. It's basically utilizing all of your resources in an organic way for profitability. Everything and everyone profits. IFS in upland, because here's some pictures of them. Some fodder crops that you might want to do for your animals. Intercropping, to support your soil, livestock component, cows, the goats, poultry, dairy. Here's one, look at this, urban agriculture. So, I'm not going to go over here. Look at this vertical farming. So this is bamboo. See, it's made from bamboo, which can be scaled up from 10 meters to 80 meters. That's 30 feet to 240 feet. Look, even a wind turbine I put on top, vertical axis as well. That's pretty cool. Just examples of all the different tiers that you can do for your urban new ways to farm. So you can do it all vertically. You've got air circulating, water tanks up the top to feed everything. It's just brilliant. So I thought that was very, very snazzy. And of course they've got hydroponics where they've got massive big things, greenhouses and deserts. It's blooming around. Why hydroponics? Well, it doesn't require soil. It can be done in homes. Zero use of pesticides. Well, it is in organics. No problem with weeds. That's a big component. Can be adopted to vertical farming. You can get some bonuses because it does grow faster. You'll see nutrition deficiencies faster. And the way that you'll put into your organic hydro would be to use vermicompost, vermiwash. Here's an example. They've got nutrient solutions for your organic system. Isn't that amazing? So it can be done. Fully organic. Why vertical farming? Well, that's been around for a while now. This course was, I think it was a good 4 or 5 years ago. 4 years ago I did this one. So it's just better uses of the space. Because everyone's struggling now. There's too many humans about. Everyone's struggling for space. Systems used in vertical farming. Yeah, look at this tight compacted one. They're growing lettuce. It's so tight. But successful. Look at that. It's just, why not? Aeroponics is another different way. They're not dipped in the water so much. Oh, that's it. I haven't seen if there's any questions really. Oh no, there isn't. That's good. Up to 5. That was it for that little bit. I've got a bit of time now. All right, chat people, what do you think? I'd like to get your comment, your input, please. We've been going for 35 minutes. Do you think I should continue with 33? No. Continue with the certification process and then do the food health next week, or end now and just continue the lectures the way they're going. What do you think? I'll give it a bit of time because it takes us a little bit of a delay that comes through. But because I want to leave, definitely want to leave this quality bit for next week. I want that to be the start, and I want to make that as a whole show because it's really, really important. But now I could go and do that one, and that one. Marketing and certification. Getting standard, what that's about. Getting standards. That should be done in it as well, because that's to do with just what everybody, individual opinion. I don't mind, just whatever you think from watching now. You might be busy, you might think, do it next time. Or you might have some spare time. Infinite Wonders says, probably have a short one today. Oh, good, thank you, Infinite Wonders, for your feedback. Depends on everyone else, I guess. Yeah, it depends on everyone else. But it'd be good to have the short one. It'd be good because it would be keeping it in succession. Like the lecture numbers wouldn't be chopping back and forward. So a person who would be interested in doing this course, they could just go and watch these, skim through a few of my shows and just see why they should really do this course, or why organic farming is good. Is another thing. Why should I get into organic farming? What's all this hoo-ha about it? Because remember the shops in Australia, they said, one agricultural shop said to me, organics is new to Australia. They would have been really upset with my expression, but because I didn't expect to hear that, and my jaw dropped. What? I didn't know. Are you kidding? I thought you're joking. That's just unreal. Oh, g'day, Genetic Memory Farms. He says, good evening, good peeps. I hope you're all safe and happy. I just asked a question to be the question was that you love some hoo-ha. Very good. Hoo-ha. How Danny. I just went through today in the crop planning and crop rotation, and then the integrated farming system. I want to maintain these antioxidants and good health stuff all for the same show. So that stuff there is going to be next week, Organic Food for Human Health, because I can talk about that for a while. But maybe today ask for continue with the certification, or should I just keep it for running into concession? So if it was to run in concession, we'd end the show today, which I don't mind, and then next week I'd do the good health. Why should you go with organics? Why? What's all the blooming hoo-ha about? That's where you said hoo-ha, because I said that. Yeah. What's it all about? So that explains that. It's nutritional value, antioxidants, developing low cancer rate, having low disease rate, having good immune system. That's what you can pull out of it. That's what got me going so much. After doing these studies, I thought, yeah, there's a bit to organics, but now I know the ORAC value, there's different nutritional values, and it's way better than I expected. So that's why I have to share this. So I think we'll end today. Maybe there might be a question or so, and next week I'll go on with organic food and nutrition, and then end this course the following week with the standards, certification, and marketing, which is way important. Because, for your, buying it, you would have looked into buying it, organic produce and meat, etc. It's twice the price, or it's substantially dearer. So it's in a niche market. So if you can grow produce that's easy to grow with low disease and pests, like garlic, you can reap the rewards from just farming. I agree with that. Keep the episodes 6 in concurrent and to the point. Yes, good stuff. So I've got 19 minutes. What can we talk about? Who's got a question? Who's got something that they've heard through the week that's real odd bod, or something that we can discuss? That would be good. Here you go. While you think of your question, I'm going to blimmin' show you. Oh, can I show you? It'll develop into a whole form speech. Some of my studies that I've been doing, I'm in week 12 of my semester this semester. Crop breeding has been outstanding. I talked again with my not him. That's the other course I'm doing. Where's microbial technology? Biotech. Him. I spoke to him again, the professor. We're going to have another one-on-one speech. He's emailed me, and we're going to have a speech. So that's been pretty cool about microbes in agriculture, biofertilizer, microbial pesticides, and IPM pest management. This course was written last year and given this year, so it's really up to date. And he's already given me some. You probably don't watch the lectures, but we were chatting the other night in them, and he's given me some really good microbe sourcing things. So yeah, that's something that, as you are all not into, microbes is my thing. Just want to open it, not flame it now. Look at it. It says struggles. These are the things that we went through in that lecture. Microbes in soil fertility and crop production, plant production, phytohormones. Remember, I always go on about them. And because of my phytohormones, I've got some really weird things happening to my vegetables. I got cauliflower that have been cropping they're coming into the third season, which they're only good for usually one season. Just odd things. It's fantastic. Microbes is biofertilizer, biochemical cycling, nutrient cycling, bioremediation, yeah. Arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. That was one thing I wanted to sort. Well, yeah. Give me some. I already used Glomus, but that's one of the species. No, it's a genus actually, because Glomus irregularis is one of the species. Irregularis from Glomus. But just all these, how to improve and get the latest technology out of things so we can benefit. And it all feeds the soil and our substrates back in turn to helps in stress responses and gives amazing plant expressions. Just really, really amazing. I agree with that. Keep the episodes. No one's put any comments in. All right, I'll talk about my study why I love it. And because this is going to be, I reckon the next show, I kind of like this reviewing stuff. I'm going to go with seed technologies. What do you reckon? Chat people? Principles, it's called. Where is it? This one. Principles of Seed Technology. Written in 2021. I did it in 2022. So the first 4 are on seeds specifically. And it's really, really cool on just to learn the processes of, I found interesting for the seed itself. So you can know, more so learn about the seed and how for reproducing it, and tissue culture comes in handy too, and also for dormancy practices. So by you knowing what a seed is and what it needs and how it functions, you can make decisions on those 3 things successfully yourself. Breeding is also another thing, because you want to get the good seeds, you don't want the bad seeds. But yeah, that's what I reckon next. That one. And then maybe in between, or maybe after that, go through the agriculture ones. Microbes in agriculture. Or do that first, I don't know. Because that was pretty good. I like getting excited over like nerdy stuff like that, and I got pretty blooming excited. Just like my crop breeding one, I got just as excited in that, because that was all that it says. Where is it? Basics. It's the basics of crop breeding. Well, holy mackerel, you should get a blooming load of it. If it's basics, I couldn't imagine what the difficult. Well, I could imagine what the difficult stuff is, but it's the molecular stuff. That's what's difficult, because they're doing that in the last few, and it's just hard to know the processes and the different things, chemicals to give to the enzyme breakdowns and the processes to do that to. But the first bit's about plant breeding, reverse plant breeding. That was amazing. That's the future. Dihaplodization in reverse breeding and ploidy. I was speaking to this professor about ploidy, polyploids, tetraploids, triploids, and how he does it, and his duration of soaking times and stuff like that. Because I said I do 15 to 16 hours, and he says he only does 10 minutes, and we'll talk a bit more technical about that. So that was I found that interesting. Tissue culture, it was just very basic. Haploids, this bit from tissue culture was really interesting. That was about haploids, artificial seed, and tissue culture. That's how to manipulate chromosomes, was a good one out of that. And homozygosity, doing that in the first season. You can get homozygotic plants quite well just through this process. I won't say quite easily, because nothing's blooming easy. Through this process that they've taught. And then, as you can see, I've got week 12 to go. And yeah, screening, blotting, microarray, that's all this DNA stuff that's so that's pretty interesting. Look at that. Different techniques. This professor, he likes to draw a lot. So he'll just have this up here, molecular screen, and he'll just draw on how to draw it, the checkerboards and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. But they didn't include it. Just as well I take photos. Look. So let's go right down to the... So you got that was wrong ones. I'm looking at 58. But no, there's an example. He just draws it all out. So I love that stuff. Some good stuff getting into my studies. Genetic Memory Farm says, to be honest, germination is probably the weakest link in my gardening skill chain. Any review on that topic is always welcome. Yeah, nice words, mate. I agree. Too many people talk about the growing process and the stresses and stuff like that. Not many people talk about the breeding, producing of the seed. What about the seed? What about just getting back to blooming seed? Here's another reason why you should. The first 4 weeks were involved in just the seeds And then the last 4 were involved in particular crops. Corn, yeah. Just have to show you the examples, but that's what it was. But yeah, these, all right, cool. One person said yes so far, so what does everybody else think? We go through all this sort of stuff. It's pretty interesting. I was very stoked with it. Development and maturation of seed. Look at all these PDFs I've got. Maybe I've got some extra stuff I've looked up and added to this. That might make it good. I'll go through all the PDFs too. Ebooks on seed development, seed germination. Yeah, nice. That's week 1, just week 1. Seed senescence, principles of quality seed production. How important is that? How flaming important is that? I make a lot of different types of seed. Yeah, seed senescence. Here, I can show you. I want to show you. Look at this. Look at the color of this seed. So I made some, it was saying maize before. I made some corn seed, and I knew it was going to come out a bit odd, but I didn't realize it was going to come out so multicolored. Sorry, I'm going to turn the camera on. Can't you see me? No. Zoop. Look at the color of this seed. So there's your blues, your light blue, probably not mature, dark blue. This is as dark blue as you're going to get. Look at that. Isn't that rad? Then we've got a bit of reds in here. We've got some whites. Isn't that amazing? This has got everything. So I'm going to pluck off some of these seeds which I think are mature and, yeah, keep them for next season. Some of the bigger ones. Oh, look, it's all starting to change. I didn't notice that. So I'm going to eat some of these. Gee, my goats love them. So I wonder if it's mature and it goes a different colour. Anyway, I'm going to start and keep them, but I thought I'd just share. We're talking about seeds. So it's a good opportunity to do that. And why? Oh yeah, there we go. Now that can come back on the screen. Yes, and you can hear me, yeah. Genetic memory frame says glass gem corn, native North American. Is that what I've got? Cool stuff. Good for cornmeal and good for whiskey. Is that the stuff you reckon? I got 4 different varieties of corn that I was growing, 4 different cultivars this season, and this is from 1 or 2 types. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is from 1 type. Yeah. Oh no, there's 2 types here. Sorry, I got the other ones in the other corner. I just thought I'd try it. I wanted to always grow the popping corn that you just put straight into the microwave, and yeah, you just pop it. Hello, Lene. Nice to see you. Just talking about some corn, some cool corn. Look at this cool corn. See it there? Those amazing colours. As dark blue as you get. I like it bigger. The corn plants, they didn't get very big. And they got poisoned from the neighbour's glyphosate, Roundup. So I thought I could have harvested them anyway. Yeah, pretty cool, I reckon. Now I want to stop doing this again. There we go. No, back to that one. Yes. All right, so today's show's nearly finished. Oh, hang on. Genetic Memory Farm says, yep, the multicolour is called glass gem corn. It is a natives people kept many varieties alive through modernisation. That is awesome. You have it. Much more nutritious than modern hybrids. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I like the weird things. The odd, you need the colour. Mum always says, mix your vegetables up, it's got to be lots of colour, because that's where all the different nutrition comes in. You know, like your purple anthocyanins, all different antioxidants, deep colours, native heirloom variety. Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm creating. I'm starting, so I'll be just growing all my seed each year and planting that again and doing it from good seed practices and putting really good endophytes in it, microbes, and making it a lot better, a lot more vibrant, a lot more bigger fruit set, a lot more susceptible to disease and resistance, maybe a bit of drought tolerance in there, put in down the track. So that's all the things that I'm interested in doing into my heirloom varieties. So you've got to make it site specific. Pretty. Yes, it is pretty. I was surprised. I couldn't believe how colourful it is. It's going to look nice. I had purple cauliflower a few weeks ago. That was nice to eat. It's good. But the shows down the track, yeah, the seed one, I like that. Spoken enough about it. I can see how, back to the seed one. So we'll just go through probably the 4 of those lectures and then skim through the last 4. So it might be 1 week, 2 weeks. No, that'll be 1 week, 2 weeks, and 3. So it might be 3 weeks, next 3 weeks worth of that. It'll be pretty interesting though. It's fascinating. I love all this study stuff just related to nanotechnology in agriculture, agricultural production, all this advanced agricultural stuff that we can do. So that's the best bit about it, is advances in agricultural engineering. The layman, living by yourself on an extremely low budget, can perform nearly all of the tasks that are in current plant science that aren't up to the molecular value, because you need machines to inspect and test those molecular processes. But a lot of the other things you can do successfully, and that's how they have done it right up until the last or start of this century. Because in the 1900s even, they had to breed and do certain morphogenic expression techniques to achieve results. So I love it. It's how we can do it. We don't need to work for someone or spend top dollar on different equipment. So yeah, it was comparing that genetics and genomics class to the crop breeding one. That genetics and genomics was very broad, where this basics of crop breeding was extremely technical and detailed. Some of these checkerboards that have gone through, this is a checkerboard, some of these to go through is just fascinating. The different crosses that you could do to get different results, and to know why you should do different crosses. It was and he's the most talented. He must work in breeding. He's done it for maybe decades. He knows his stuff. He says all this stuff off by heart. The heterogenic type of nature for a homozygotic cross. I just love it. Yeah, how can I achieve all wrinkled yellow seeds? Well, you can. You just got to do it a few different ways. Independent segregation, random alignment. There's so many doing test. This is probably one of the best things, all the test crossing, to test to see what you actually have. Test to see what single gene you want to transfer on to see if it's worked all right. But yeah, this was written last year as well, this course. So I learned a stack out of it. Then he goes into, yeah, look at that, getting right into it. If we want to make a cross between these two plants, what type of genotypes could we get? From crossing this one and this one. Well, we can get a lot of different expressions, as you can see here. 8 from the branching method of determining different types of gametes. Yeah, that'll do. Getting a bit technical and boring-ish. Righto. So thanks for helping me go to the end of today, everybody. Next week, we'll be going through the organic. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, it's right down the bottom. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. I should be sharing this so you can see what I'm looking at on the list. So yeah, put your words in now if you'd like to say anything, because the show is going to be wrapping up. Just going to share you what I'm going to go through next week. So it was today's 32 to 34. Quality of organic food. That's going to be so blimmin' fun. That's next week. Why quality? I thought it was just about the pesticides. Oh, it just doesn't have pesticides. There's heaps more to it than pesticides. It's about nutritional value. And that's the whole reason why we have food, nutritional value. So there's some really cool, I think there might even be some studies to go through. Organic food for human health in that one. So it's a 36. 33 to 36. Fantastic. That's why growing it is so much more rewarding, because it's nearly for free. It's just effort you put in, and you can use that as your stress relief. Genetic Memory Farm says, Aussie see there, I think brassica is the awesome example. One plant is broccoli. Yeah. Choice. Yep. It all started out as a mustard plant, and they made 7 plants out of mustard. They made Brussels sprouts also in there too. It was just excellent. And now they're going into the different varieties, like you got the green and purple cabbage. They're starting to branch out a lot better again. And you can do all that from selective breeding and different morphogenic expressions. So you as the home gardener can do these things yourself. I've gone and made seed this summer from broccoli, cauliflower. I don't eat cabbage. I've got Brussels sprout. And I didn't keep any silver beet seeds, but I'm going to make some more of them. Are they a legume? Cabbage? I don't think they're a legume. Anyway, but yeah, it's really, really cool. Very rewarding. Good fun. And then you can cross your own different ones and get some weird things. And imagine too, once you do your crosses, like I'm going to start and grow some weird seeds. I'll grow my seeds. And one of them, like my carrots, is coming out in particularly extremely purple as. Very, very, very purple. So I'm going to let that one go to seed and then keep the seeds and yeah, see what expressions I get out of that. And might be something different again. Might be able to get like those native heirloom corn varieties. Genetic Memory Farm says, Amen. Today I was explaining the difference between calorie dense and nutritious dense foods. Wow. Yes. Big difference, isn't there? The calorie dense ones is the big fiber rich ones that we get now. That's being mass produced because they can only use NPK mineral based fertilizers and lots of pesticides to mass produce it. They haven't got very good organic. And might I add, there might be a few doing that, but that's in general I'm talking about. And then the nutrient dense foods are the organic rich ones. There are some ones that's foods that are still very nutritious, but just in general. So to have options to go with the second one, the nutritious dense one, mate, that's what we're about. If we can get more nutrients out of things, let alone antioxidants and let alone microbes, by me ingesting all of the produce, they've probably got a lot of my microbes that I've purchased in them or on them. And I've got them now in me, and they've worked out in my food gut web, are they suitable for me? So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's only a win-win situation, all this agricultural studies. It really, truly is. And then you can make money out of it, like me. I'm trying to start I've started. I'm on second season of my organic farm. I've got 8 of the 10 cultivars have already sprouted. It's cool as anything. Organics is great. You get on top of it. I've been rambling for a bit. This has been another really good show. I enjoyed it again, thanks. This is the same time slot for the next few shows, which now it's been going for an hour. So 1 hour ago is when I started. So this will be the same time slot for the next quite a few weeks. See if everybody's happy with that. Well, it's just half an hour less than last week. But yeah, I could even go half an hour earlier again if need be. I don't mind, but we'll see how this goes. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everybody listening and contributing. I really do. Bit of like a stress relief for me for this, and also it teaches me. So I'm learning stuff from chat. I'm also learning stuff by revising my notes that I have from the courses that I've done. So it's brilliant. So I appreciate you for chat and you for listening, for giving me the energy to do so. That's what keeps me going, and with the low numbers that I get, it doesn't really matter because it's all enjoyable, and yeah, I hope at least somebody's getting, I know a few people are getting some good rewards out of it, so that's good. Good stuff. Genetic Memory Farm says, have a great night, peeps, be safe. I say the same thing. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, so I'll see you next week. If you've got any comments, you can always tune in, leave comments through the week. Press the like button if you did like this, please. I'm trying to go on a different approach now through the agricultural and gardening and horticultural side of things. So I'm looking for more numbers so I can get more chat and more interesting topics. That would be really cool. Get into the latest of these topics, and I can email my professors and ask them about things about what's been said and get back on the latest stuff. So just to, yeah, stay on top of things and enjoy agriculture. Thank you again. Happy breeding, happy growing, good health to you all. Like Lene says, cool, have a good weekend. And bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you all next week. It's 1 hour earlier because it's just gone for an hour. Good night and good day. Bye-bye.